my best time of my day was when I was in the meditations and I would just get filled with hope and belief. And for me, like Dr. Joe's work is about the hope. I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. I went in, I felt a lump. I went in to the doctor, and within 7 days, I went from not knowing I had anything to stage 4 cancer. The diagnosis was because the cancer was so slow growing, they had decided at that point it had already spread. There was one spot in my lymph node. There was actually a huge tumor in my left breast, and it had spread to 6 spots on my bones. I don't know why, but when they said, oh, it's stage 4 cancer, and the way we're going to treat is that we're not going to do a mastectomy and chemo and radiation because it actually won't help you at this point. However, it's very, very serious. And at that point, I was almost relieved in this strange way of saying, oh, good, it's going to give me a little bit of time to figure out what I can do. Because in a way, I thought, if my body created this, for whatever reason, is there a way that my body could uncreate it? And now that was a completely new thought for me. Like, that must have just dropped in. I found an amazing oncologist, and then I went looking for a functional oncologist. And when he looked at me, my functional oncologist, he pointed a finger and he said, you've been living in PTSD for 45 years. You have trauma. You have high stress. You need to change absolutely everything about your life. Can you do it? You're going to have to look at your work. You're going to have to look at your relationships. You're going to have to, do everything that we say. And I said, I can do that. So in the meantime, I'm starting to let some of my friends know about the diagnosis, and they're shocked. And there was a lady who was one of my closest friends who was on a mastermind call, and this lady from London who doesn't even know me, she said, get her to a Joe Dispenza event. And the funny thing is like, wait a minute, I think I have his book on my bookshelf, because I had the Placebo book, but I didn't really get it, and I hadn't really gotten into the work, but I was really kind of fascinated. I signed up for Cancun, and the 7-day in June of 2023. That was my first week long. The first night of the Coherent Healing, again, you're laying on the, on the ground, and, you feel so much love. And I'm kind of a pessimistic person. So I'm like, well, if something happens, great, but I believe. But if something doesn't, then, I'm not going to be disappointed in myself. Oh my gosh. So this group of people just prayed for me to the point the energy was so intense that I literally felt like this searing underneath in my lymph node. And I had a scan right beforehand that had shown that there was a lymph node there. Afterwards, the Coherent Healing, and I just felt this electrocution and this amazing love in my body. The next PET scan showed that the lymph node was gone, as if there was surgery. I went to an advanced follow-up, and again, I had a Coherent Healing. I felt something like all of a sudden, like my body just kind of like shrink. And I went back to my doctor, and he goes, okay, well, all of your bones are healed, and the tumor that used to be 9 centimeters is now barely active on the scans. So I was really excited. And then I went to one more healing. I went to one more AFU in Washington last time. And even though the cancer was technically not there, there was still a little bit of residual. And during one of the times when Dr. Joe was just lecturing, I felt it pop like a piece of popcorn, and it's gone. One of the things that I kept on doing is continuously looking at a sheet of paper that my doctor would give me after every scan. And no matter what, I would just feel what it would feel like when he hands me this piece of paper to say, you're cancer-free, you're cancer-free, you're cancer-free. There's no evidence of cancer, and the blood test and all the things. I would just imagine what that would feel like. So when it actually happened, I was like, oh, I already knew it was going to happen. There was a point where I walked into my office and somebody said, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. Why? And they said, well, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I had cancer. And they just thought I was crazy. I am excited. It's changed my life in so many ways. Spiritually, my mind is expanded. I have friends. My heart opened that had been clamped shut for so many years from hurt and pain and trauma. And the meditation sometimes was the only solace that I had from the fear. And I always found that when I would actually take the time, which was every day, but my best time of my day was when I was in the meditations and I would just get filled with hope and belief. And for me, like Dr. Joe's work is about the hope